U.S. sinks below Mongolia and Argentina in global ranking for freedom.
Here's a summary of the article.
The United States has dropped 11 points in 10 years in the global ranking for freedom. A new report from democracy watchdog Freedom House charting the political and civil rights of different nations has the U.S. down significantly because of racial inequality, the negative impact of money in politics, and the rise in polarization between Americans. The drop, analyzed by Freedom House's Vice President of Research and Analysis, Sarah Rapucci, comes after events taking place during the last several months that amounted to an acute crisis for democracy in the United States, she writes. Freedom House usually does not write a report focusing on the ins and outs of American democracy, but did so this year because of the stark developments that came at the detriment of freedom. The practice of partisan gerrymandering has the most corrosive and radicalizing effect on U.S. politics, generating a multitude of districts in which one party can be virtually certain of victory, the report states. The report suggests that the U.S. lower barriers to voting as part of a comprehensive effort to address racial injustice, and it argues that campaign finance laws be tightened to curb the influence of money in politics. While state Republicans hope to halt the trends of states moving towards Democratic rule in its tracks by making it harder to vote, as reported by Vox, Democrats on the national level are pushing a voting rights package that addresses the issues stated in the report.
This post received a score of 48,000, with an upvote ratio of 80%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
I mean, I would imagine Mongolia is pretty free. Who can tell you what to do when you are living high above the world in the Kongai Mountains?
I'm always surprised given the sheer size of Mongolia how little I actually know about the country if I'm honest.
Well, to be fair, it has one of the lowest population densities of any country on Earth. Almost half the country lives in the capital Ulaanbaatar. Fascinating history, though. Edit. The lowest, in fact.
The lowest population density of any sovereign state, in fact. Only territories and constituent countries like Greenland are lower.
Welp, I know where I want to live now. Either Mongolia or Wyoming.
Just know that the capital, Ulaanbaatar, has almost 1.5 million people. Over 40% of the entire country lives there. The rural areas are just extremely sparsely populated, and partially for good reason. Lots of the country is either desert or cold and mountainous, although I wouldn't be too opposed to living in the latter. They do have some nice grasslands if you want to try to live a nomadic lifestyle with your yurt, as one does. Edit. I just realized that the original comment had already said how many people live in the capital. Whoops.
The Altai Mountains were a womb of nations, like Scandinavia in antiquity onwards to the medieval period. They were the origin of genetic ripples that spread throughout the entire Old World, altering every culture and civilization they encountered. I gotta visit the place.
Thanks for the fun fact, Anal Gaper.
But still higher than Reddit.
Being Argentinian, it's kind of funny to be used as a point for comparison here, lol. However, even though this country is a disaster, I don't get what this list means by freedom. If I'm not free, then that's news to me.
Argentina is ranked as free, 84/100, which is really only lower than Chile, Uruguay, Costa Rica and Canada out of the Americas. The US has 83/100. The list is pretty biased though.
The true measure for freedom should be whether you can torrent anything you want without getting letters from law enforcement.
You're pretty free if that's your pressing issue for freedom.
I'll be free when I get ice cream for dinner. Freedom is being able to eat ice cream for dinner. Liberty is being able to not eat ice cream for dinner.
Not like this shit happened overnight or because of the pandemic. A majority of citizens have been perfectly fine with this path for decades. Otherwise the same people wouldn't be getting elected.
Their consent has been manufactured.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.